Welcome back everyone to TTS Daily. I'm Yi right here. Trigger warning right at the start. Today's stories are all pretty grim. We don't decide the news, but today's stories are all really pretty grim. So first up, in Thailand, this fatal incident happened at February 12, 2025 around 5 p.m. in Udon Thani province, Thailand. An 88-year-old man named Phon was unalive in his home, and the suspect is actually Phon's grandson, Somrak, who is aged 29. He fled the scene with Somrak attacked Phon over an alleged gambling debt dispute, confronting his cousin in the process too. Phon tried to intervene and was attacked, sustaining fatal injuries. Somrak left the scene calmly after the attack. Somrak was possibly under the influence of substances, as he was known for substance abuse and had hallucinations. Family statements from another relative heard that Somrak demanded money from Phon despite no debts existing. This is probably another case of his hallucination. Somrak has a history of substance abuse. He also did jail time and had previously unalive animals. Police are currently still searching for Somrak, warning the public about his dangerous behavior. Our next story is in Malaysia, Petaling, Jaya. This is also another grim story, so trigger warning for everyone. An accident happened on early Wednesday morning, February 12, 2025 in Kampung Pengkalan, Petaling, Jaya at around 12:45 a.m. The victim was a 27-year-old female factory worker. Let's call her Lady Ann, okay? She was involved in a fatal motorcycle incident because she crashed her vehicle into a stone wall near Datuk Sri Madzin Vocational College after losing control of her motorcycle. What happened earlier was there was an argument between her and husband before the incident. The husband then reportedly chased her on another motorcycle, which led her to speed up on her own motorcycle. She then lost control of her own motorcycle and crashed fatally into the stone wall. The district police chief has confirmed that investigation is ongoing and the husband will be questioned and witnesses will be identified. The victim died at the scene from head injuries. Okay, we're back in Singapore right now, where we have the results right now of this pretty known civil negligence case involving Madam Tran Ti Fong Nga and SBS with driver Lu Nai Yu. So the incident happened when Madam Nga fell while climbing to the upper deck of a double-decker bus operated by SBST. The nature of her injuries wasn't detailed in the judgment, but she claimed to have suffered pain and suffering. The court final's decision is that they found no negligence on the part of the bus driver or SBS. Video evidence showed Madam Nga missing a step and falling as the bus started moving, not due to any sudden jerk from the driver. The arguments by the plaintiff, Madam Nga, was she argued that the driver should have waited for her to be seated before moving off, especially considering her age. Madam Nga is of course in her late 60s. She also claimed that the driver was distracted by talking to another passenger and was not properly monitoring the stairs via video feed. Allegations included that the bus moved off with a sudden jerk and the driver was steering with only one hand. In defense, the defendant, the driver and SBS, the driver denied any negligence, stating that he did not have to wait for all passengers to be seated before moving off unless they were visibly vulnerable. He maintained there was no sudden jerk in the movement of the bus and that he was in control even with one hand on the steering wheel momentarily. The judge concluded that the bus driver did not need to wait for all passengers to be seated before moving based on legal precedents from all other jurisdictions. There was no evidence of sudden movements or loss of control by the driver also. Other passengers did not lose balance, indicating no unusual movement of the bus. The judge dismissed Madam Nga's claims about the bus jerky movements and the driver's distractions. So finally, this negligence suit was dismissed as Madam Nga could not prove negligence by the defendants, leading to no further proceedings on causation or damage assessment. Another fatal accident in Singapore on February 10, on 7:45 a.m. A 61-year-old man cycling in Tampines, Singapore was involved in a fatal accident with a car on Tampines Avenue 9. The elderly cyclist had just dropped his grandson off at school before the incident occurred while he was cycling back home. Prior to that accident, the cyclist was described as being in good health and a regular bicycle commuter. The cyclist was taken to Changi General Hospital unconscious and later sadly passed away. Offerings were observed at the accident site indicating a memorial by friends or family. A 47-year-old driver was arrested for driving without reasonable consideration, causing grievous hurt, and the police are conducting ongoing investigations. Family and friends have made appeals on social media platforms like Xiaohongshu for eyewitnesses or anyone with footage of the incident to come forward. Our thoughts and condolences to the victim and their family. And for our last story of the day, we're going to talk about Yama Guchi Taro, the cobbler from Yishun, Singapore. So Taro has been a cobbler in Yishun for over 32 years. Wow. Initially working near the Yishun bus interchange, later outside North Point City. So recently Taro suffered a serious fall leading to hospitalization, and he was diagnosed with dementia, uncontrolled bowel movements, a fractured left hand, and stroke, which affected his right side. And he also had a throat lump causing swallowing difficulties. Currently, he is fed through a nostril tube. Due to his health, Taro can no longer take on cobbling work. His Google listing indicates he is permanently closed. So, his daughter, Yoko, issued a public notice expressing the family's commitment to support his recovery, and the community has shown sympathy and support on platforms such as Reddit. As such, there are no clear timeline for when or if Taro might return to his work. As you can see from the pictures here, Taro is well loved and adored by his community in Yishun. So, stay safe everyone. Your health and life is precious. Take care of everyone and be kind to each other.